Yes, namaste to all of you. We remember all our great acharyas, the gurus of yoga, right from Narayana himself and Shiva and Shankaracharya and various other yogis like Krishna, Buddha, and in fact, almost all the great personalities were yogis in one form or the other. And Yoga Darshana is accepted by even divergent philosophical schools like Advaita, Advaita, Vasishtha Advaita. Everyone accepts Yoga Darshana. The simple reason is that it is practical practice. It is the core practice of concentration meditation, which is the foundation of all philosophical systems. And I would also like to add that it is yoga is the science of sciences because all sciences originate in the human mind, and the yoga darshana is the science of the human mind. So it is the science of sciences. So last time we have discussed the nature of yoga. What is the definition of yoga? Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. That is, yoga is defined as arresting of the mental modifications or the vibrations in mind. So these mental modifications or chitta vrittis they are called. That is movements and vibrations in the mind. They were identified as 5 categories: the observation or pramana, and then the check that contains 3 parts: the sensory observation, inference, and reference. And then we have other mental states like hallucination, illusion, dream, and sleep, and memory. So all these different states of mind, they constitute the human consciousness as we know today. The entire universe which appears to the human mind as real, and it appears differently to different individuals. It is all because of the mental modifications. In fact, no two individuals see the same universe, the same reality, and that is because of the prior conditioning and the mental modifications based on prior conditioning or vasanas or karma. So, the mind being chitta, being the core substance here, how to control it, how to arrest it, how to stop it, and therefore achieve self establishment or self realization. Because this mind is never stopping and it will take you away from yourself into the outside world. And the outside world is observed through the instruments of senses or the sensors of senses. It appears to be real and different to every individual. It continuously changes. So behind the senses is the mind or chitta, which is the agency of knowledge, agency of observation, and that chitta goes through various states, and in different states it experiences, or the human being experiences different nature of realities, like in dream, in sleep, in waking state, in observation, in inference, in hallucination, and so on. So Patanjali says, we are now going through the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, as you know. He says, if you arrest it, if you arrest chitta, tada drashtu swarupe avasthana, you will be established in yourself if the chitta is arrested. Otherwise, you will be identifying yourself as if you are one and the same as the thoughts or the chitta vrittis. Because in the dream, if you experience some dream, then you are experiencing as if you have identified with that dream. And when you watch a TV serial, you are identifying with the TV serial characters. Or when you observe a movie, you are identifying with the movie, and people start weeping while observing a movie. They are identifying with the characters of the movie. In the same way, the human mind is making you see certain so-called reality, and you are identifying with it. Vritti sarupya vitaratra, except at the state when there is no chitta vritti. Chitta will be there, no, but vritti will not be there. Only in that state, Swarupa Avasthan, you are in yourself. Otherwise, you are identifying with your own thoughts, and which are different for different people at different times, and they are sometimes good, sometimes bad. The same identity will be negated some other times, and the same, like what people like the most, they start hating after some time. What they hate and most, will start liking at some time. All kinds of monkey behavior is shown by the mind. In fact, the mind is compared with monkey, and this monkey behavior of the mind will make you believe that you are so and so, this happened, that happened, and therefore you are angry, therefore you are depressed, or therefore you are happy, and so on and so forth. So, Yoga Shastra, Yoga Darshana is explaining a technique of arresting the mind. Like, as you know, if the mind is not arrested, it will be wandering in all directions, and you can neither do anything concrete, nor achieve anything concrete, nor you can understand anything. So, mind has to be arrested. So, that process of arresting the mind, today we will be discussing. Having discussed last time different states of mind and definition of yoga as arresting the mind, and only when the mind is arrested it is possible to be established in yourself. Otherwise, you are identifying falsely with the observations of the mind as if you are there. Like when you observe a movie, you will identify yourself with the movie, or the character there, the hero there, or heroine there, whatever happens there, and you will start, uh, harmonizing yourself, or like vibrating with the character there. You will weep, or you will shout, or you will do all kinds of things. So it is all wrong. Therefore, how to arrest the mind? Today's topic is how the mind can be arrested. How can the vibrations in the mind can be arrested? So Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam Tan Nirodha. I am following this book on page 197 of this book, Patanjali Yoga Darshana by Omanandaji of Gita Press. And of course, it is in Hindi, but I will be speaking in English. So, the Sutra of Patanjali, the 12th Sutra, is Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam Tan Nirodha. It's a very fundamental statement. Tan Nirodha, Nirodha is arresting. Which arresting? Arresting of the movements, chittavrittis in the mind is possible only by two factors, Abhyasa and Vairagya. What are these two? Tatra sthito yatno abhyasa. Next sutra he says, abhyasa means practice, is a continuous effort to achieve that. We all know very well as IITians how much we practiced studying mathematics or physics or chemistry or whatever it is we did in our IIT, whatever computer science or whatever, how much effort we have put. So that effort is called abhyasa. So abhyasa, vairagya, second is vairagya. Now vairagya is something which is unique to philosophical spiritual traditions of India. It is not known in the materialistic lifestyles. In materialistic life which we normally live, or the whole world lives, there is a purpose of achieving something by committing to it and going through a practice and effort and discipline to achieve that. It may be a job, or it may be a particular target. So, but here we must reach a state of liberation. We don't have targets. We don't want to achieve 1 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees, 1 crore. Before going to USA in 81, I was made to believe that once I go to USA, I can make so much money that I come back and I don't do anything. I just enjoy life. It did not happen. I went to USA and came back, but I did not stop working. I did not stop earning. So this kind of delusionary desires of making more money and more money and more money, or getting this promotion, that job, this girl, this boy, this thing, that thing, all these desires have their temporary relevance, but in the ultimate analysis, they all disappear because none of them will sustain in the long-term permanent basis. So that's why Vairagya, in addition to Abhyasa, Vairagya is also mentioned. And before we go to Vairagya, there is one more sutra for Abhyasa. Tatra sthito yatno Abhyasa. Abhyasa is defined as a concerted, committed, dedicated effort towards achieving that state of controlling the mind. And Tattu Dirghakala Nairantari Satkara Sevito Dridhabhumihi. That is the next sutra. Even that practice, with famous proverb in English, practice makes perfect. So when will it make perfect? It will not make in one day. Rome was not built in one day. Satu Dirghakala Nairantariya Satkara Sevito Dridhabhumihi. Even a strong foundation, Dridhabhumi means strong foundation of controlling your mind will come only with Dirghakala, long-term efforts, and Nairantarya, Nirantara, regular, constant. You know all that. Even to be able to practice, say, yogasanas or to do jogging or swimming or whatever, we require regularity and we have commitment, continuously, regularly practice. That's what he's talking about. So when even for small things such a continuity and commitment practice is required, a big thing like this to stop your mind and to be reach self-realization, being yourself, it is definitely a very big task. So it requires tremendous amount of efforts of practice and regularity and commitment. That's what he is stating. Next, we go to Vairagya. What is this Vairagya? Vairagya means dispassion, detachment, desirelessness. Why do we need this? Because if you have a desire, you will be restless to achieve it, and after achieving it, you get the next desire, is in queue. And then after that, the next desire, and so on. There's no end to this. So, to reach salvation, or moksha, or self realization, or God realization, you require Vairagya. Vairagya on what? Not on this objective of reaching self realization, but on the objective of other material objects. Drishta anusravika vishaya vitrushnasya vasikara sanya vairagyam. Vairagyam or dispassion is defined as conquering the cravings for objects either seen or unseen or only heard, of sensory objects, sensory enjoyments, or objects of sensory, the craving for it. Drishta anusravika. Drishta means seen by you. That means known by you. Anusravika, not known by you, not seen by you, but heard about them. Like you never went to, say, let us say, Las Vegas, but you heard about it. So you'll have a desire to go to Las Vegas. So similarly, you have not gone to, say, Opera House in Sydney. You have heard about it. You want to go there. So these are all various desires. You all know that one desire after another, one desire after another. Desires keep on coming. In fact, there is a famous curse in Chinese. May all your desires be fulfilled. Because the moment your desires are fulfilled, the next desire comes up and you are caught up in this maze of samsara. So if you want to break out of this maze of samsara bandha, which is moksha, freedom, then you have to give up your desires. It is like, the famous story which Ramakrishna Paramhansa told. There is a round wall in a fort, and there is only one exit door at one place, and one blind man wants to exit that enclosure with wall. So he keeps walking across, touching the wall and closing his eyes because he's a blind man, looking for the exit door. And so happens that whenever he reaches the exit door, he starts getting an itching on his back. So he removes his hand and starts scratching his back and keep walking. So during that scratching of his back for itching, he crosses the door. And again he's back to square one with the wall on his hand. And he keeps on going. So round and round and round he keeps on going. So this is how our lives are going on round and round and round, not only within this life, but next life and next life and next life and so on. So how to come out of this is true freedom. And that is moksha. For that, you have to give up all your desires. Because these desires are the root cause of your birth and your life and your bondage. In fact, in Telugu, karmamna puttu jantu, karmamna jachu. So an animal, a human being is also an animal in a way. is born out of the karma of the past, born out of the unfulfilled desires. When he died last time, he had certain desires unfulfilled, and to fulfill those desires is born in this life. And so, the more desires you have, the more lives you will be born, and you'll be stuck with this misery of samsara. So, desirelessness is vairagya, and it is considered to be very great quality, very difficult to achieve. I don't have to tell you how difficult to achieve. And now he said, what is the greatness of that? Tat param purushakhyate gunavaitrishyam. And by reaching vairagya state, that is desirelessness, what will you achieve? You will achieve parama purusha akhyata. That is, you will reach the knowledge of the ultimate prakriti purusha and viveka and Sattva Purusha Anyata Vaitrushnyam, that is Vairagyam with Trishna. Trishna means craving, Vaitrushnyam or Vairagyam means no craving. So when you have no craving, you have no desires to fulfill. You are like a rock. Nobody can touch you. You are untouchable and you are transcendent. You beyond everything and you reach the ultimate level. And Vitarka Vichara Ananda Asmitanubhavat Samprajnataha. Now let us see. He has given twofold approach to achieve Chittavritti Nirodha, that is stilling your mind, calming your mind through practice and detachment or desirelessness. Why these both are recommended is, if you have desire, then your practice will be diverted to achieve that desire and not to become liberated from desires. So when you have no desires left, as Lord Buddha also, after having meditated for many years, he finally told to the whole world that the root cause of all misery in this world is a desire. Because when a desire is there, a man is restless to achieve it, and after achieving it, he will get another desire, and so on. And if he doesn't achieve the desire, he will become angry. He will become, after achieving, he will become greedy, and he will become proud. He will become crazy. Like in Las Vegas, if you go and play the gambling machines, you will never become satisfied. Even if you get $1,000 in return, you want to put it back into gambling. It is the nature of mind. So nature of desires. So being desireless is a greater level of maturity and development than being with desires. So having achieved, let us say, a desireless state, at least temporarily, and having achieved a thoughtless or motionless state of the mind by practice, then you will be able to reach samadhi, which is stilling the mind completely, and that absorption. In fact, later in the sutras it comes how the mind is absorbed. It is called samadhi. Swarupa shunyameva samadhi. When you are absorbed into something, I'm sure you all know what is absorption. You have been absorbed into lectures like mine, or you have been absorbed into music by great musicians, or to various other things. So that absorption is called samadhi in yoga, and is now describing what is called samprajnata samadhi. So definition of samprajnata samadhi is vitarka, vichara, ananda, asmita, anurupa, agama, anugamat samprajnata samadhi. There are 5 categories. One is vitarka, a logical absorption. Like we have been doing this in our IIT class works and in our researches, in our jobs. And then vichara samadhi, no vitarka, no logical analysis, but thought process, deep thought, vichara. And ananda, there is another type of absorption, which is ananda, blissful absorption, which comes in, say, in top class music. You're absorbed completely, or you're absorbed in meditation, you're absorbed in a lecture, you're absorbed with, enjoying something, or you're absorbed with XYZ. So that is ananda samadhi. And we also have vitarka, vichara, ananda, asmita. Asmita is just myself, the basic ego. I am just myself, neither vitarka nor vichara nor ananda, but just myself. Asmita, which is also the other form of ahankara. Ahankara does not mean durahankara. Basic I-ness, ego, basic ego. Anugamat samprajnata samadhi. This is the categorization, classification of
different types of samadhi. In this book, elaborate discussion is given with great detail. You can read it yourself. And I'll go to the next sutra. Virama pratyabhyasa purvaha samskara sesho anyaha. So another type of samadhi other than samprajnata samadhi. Samprajnata means conscious samadhi. He is in conscious state. And there is another one which is it is unconscious state. Virama pratyabhyasa purvaha samskara sesho anyaha. So there is a kind of complete stillness, complete blankness. I've experienced many of these samadhis and many instances. So in the complete absorption of total nothingness, what Lord Buddha talked of nothingness, sarvasunyam nirabhasam samadhistasya rakshanam. So that kind of samadhi, nothing is there, but you come back with your past samskaras. So that is another category of samadhi. And in detail, the descriptions are given in this book. Kindly go through at your leisure because we are having a lecture only once in a month. You have a whole month to study. Now, Bhava Prachayo Videha Prakritilayanam, Sutra number 19. So, there are some people by birth, they reach that stage. And in fact, in another sutra also, even Samadhi, Patanjali has explained, by birth also people do get. Some people, very rarely though, they are great saints, like say Manik Prabhu Maharaj, or even Sai Baba, or the other Taras, Dattatreya, and so on. They are right from childhood, right from birth, they have extraordinary subtleties. They get into absorption, they get lost into trance. Why is it that everybody is not like that? Because it depends on their past. Like Ravana Maharshi also. Why did Ravana Maharshi do what he did? Why his brother did not do? So it is a question of your past evolution. If you have evolved advanced enough in the past life, in this life you will automatically get into the higher stages. Bhava prachayo videha prakritilayanam. There are two types of people, videhas and prakritilayas, and who are by birth in that kind of a asamprajnat samadhi ki prati. That is, samprajnat samadhi is with attributes. Asamprajnat samadhi is just trance, total blankness, lost into samadhi. Some people get it right from birth because of their, like Ravana Maharshi got, nobody asked him to do it, but he did it on his own. He went into that state. Now, these are all very deep states of experience, very extraordinary states of experience. Now, next sutra, 21. Tivra samveganam asannaha. You may ask, how come that we are not getting that? And he is getting it, somebody, Ravana Maharshi got it. So, he's giving an answer here. Tivra samveganam asannaha mrudumadhyadi matratva tato viseshta. 21 and 22 sutras. The rapid, accelerated growth is there for some people. Asanna, they achieve it just like that in a jiff. Others will be mediocre, mrudu madhyadi matratva atopi visheshataha. In detail going in a slow, medium, dead slow, all types of people are there. So Tivra Samvegas are those who have rapid, fast goers. So Isvara Pranidhanadva. So he has given finally a very important statement. Even by surrendering to Ishvara, you may get that samadhi. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 12th chapter, he clearly says, you give up everything. Mayeva mana adhatsva, keep your mind fixed in me. My buddhim nivesha, keep your mind, intellect fixed in me. Nivasishyasi mayeva, you shall live in me. Ataudham, very high level. Nasamshaya, no doubt. So this is also explained as Bhakti Yoga by the Bhakti people. And of course, the word Bhakti is not used in Patanjali Yoga Sutras. The Narada Bhakti Sutras, they explain Bhakti. Narada's Bhakti Sutras are there, which explain what is Bhakti in detail. And 12th chapter in Bhagavad Gita also explains. But Ishvara Pranidhanadva is one of the methods of achieving Samadhi in addition to what I explained as other methods. Klesha karma vipagashayera paramrushtaha purusha vishesha Ishvara. Now immediately the question arises, who is this Ishvara? Ishvara means Allah, or Ishvara means Yehovah, or Ishvara means Brahman, or Ishvara means Parabrahman, or Ishvara means Narayana, or Ishvara means Shiva, or Ishvara means Shakti, or Ishvara means Ganesha, or Ishvara means Kartikeya, or what? So that question arises. So, keeping aside the other approaches, what I mentioned are the various devatas who are being propitiated, whose upasana is performed by different groups all over different parts of the globe. But here, formal definitions are being given. Ishvara is defined as a personality, not the impersonal Brahman of Vedanta, but a personality, Purusha Vishesha, a special personality who is free, Klesha Karma Vipakashaya Aparamrushtaha, Purusha Vishesha Ishvara. Ishvara is a special personality who is free from miseries, kleshas. What are those kleshas? We'll come back again. And who is free from karma and the karma phala. And he is untouched by the vasanas of karma. Now let us understand what are these various factors. Klesha is misery or sorrow. We will explain various types of kleshas. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha, Klesha, the next sutras. And karma, you already know what is karma. For those who don't know what is karma, let me explain. Karma means action. Action performed by you will bind you up, because today you are doing what you are doing is the result of the action performed by you in the past. For example, in this lecture, why are you sitting in this lecture? The cause for this sitting in this lecture is you sat in this lecture last time, and the cause of last time is the previous time, and the previous, even before me you might have heard many lectures of many topics, either same or similar or with intersection of this topic. So there is a okay. So the karma is the past actions performed by you, which will be binding you, which will cause you to experience the result of your past actions. That is karma phala. So either karma or karma phala cannot be escaped, good and bad both. But Ishvara is such a personality who is free from karma and klesha. Klesha will explain once again. Aparamrushtaha Purusha Vishesha Ishvara. And to know more about Ishvara, you can study this book, the various explanations given, and in detail various quotations given. Tatra Niratishayam Sarvajna Bijam, and also that Ishvara has infinite or eternal kind of all knowledge. Sarvajna Bijam. He is full of all knowledge. It is a hypothetical personality. No human being can be having all knowledge. That means past, present, and future. All the three are known to Ishvara. Sapurvesham Abhiguru Kalena Navachhedat. And he is unaffected by time. He is the guru of the ancients as well. Not only us, but our ancients. So right from Brahma, we have Narayana as the guru of Brahma. Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha. Next final very important statement is Vachaka or indicator or name of that Ishvara is Pranavaha. Pranava is Om. So Om is the indication or the name or symbol for Ishvara. This rings some bells because in the Upanishads, the Mandukya Upanishads, for example, Om Ityekakshram Brahma, there Om is defined as Brahman. Here Om is defined as the name of Ishvara. So there is something similarity between Brahman and Ishvara. We will not get into the discussions between various darshanas because that is Vedanta Darshana and this is Yoga Darshana. They are complementary but they are independent. Tajjapastadartha bhavanam. This Om or Pranava as it is called shall be repeated and its meaning be contemplated. So by doing that, tata pratyak chetanadhigamopya antaraya bhavascha, the next sutra. By doing that, you will be able to overcome the obstructing resistance to spiritual progress, and you will also be overcoming the antarayas, the obstructions which are coming against your progress. What are those obstructions? In the next sutra is explaining Vyadhi, Sthana, Samshaya, Alasya, Avirati, Bhranti, Darshanalabdha, Bhumikatva, Navasthitan, Chittavikshepaste Antaraya. So the antarayas or the obstructions to the yoga process are starting with Vyadhi, disease, disorder, malady, ill health, infection, whatever you call it. Sthana, then is laziness, half sleep, sleep and all that kind of. Samshaya, doubts. Then pramada, accident. Alasya, laziness. Avirati, dissatisfaction. Bhranti, delusions. Bhranti Darshanalabdha Bhumigatva Navasthatvani. Chitta Vikshepa, all these distractions of the chitta, they are all the obstructions. And what are the associated symptoms? Dukkha, Daurmanasya, Angamenesva, Shwasa Prashwasa Vikshepa Sahabhavaha. Dukkha, sorrow, misery. Daurmanasya, mental debility, weakness, like Arjuna experienced in the first chapter. And Angamejayasva, the shaking of the body. And Shwasa Prashwasa Vikshepa, the disturbance of the breathing, getting rapid breathing or getting exhausted with the deep breath requirement, all these symptoms, medical symptoms, psychological symptoms of disorders, they're all coming as obstructions. And all these obstructions can be overcome by the meditation and repetition of Om. As simple as that. Recently, I came to know very interesting report that when long Om is performed, much longer than what I'm showing you, in the yoga sessions we perform long Oms, deep breaths. Two medical research observations were noticed. First and latest is that Om pranayama, Om chanting, will generate nitric acid in the nasal cavity, and that nitric acid kills all kinds of viruses, including coronavirus. And the nasal vaccination program being done by some companies is just to kill the virus in the nasal cavity through nitric acid only. So instead of putting drops of vaccination from outside, which contains nitric acid, by doing Om, long Om, I'll show you one or two times, that itself will generate adequate nitric acid to remove the infection in the nasal cavity. This is one medical research observation. The second medical research observation, which I have noticed in a report long back, was our heart. So when Om is chanted in a particular way, the heart slows down. The lips are in oval form, and many other research observations are the mind becomes calm, alpha activity in the mind starts. So I'll show you Om as a sample. You can all practice Om at your own house on your own way. But first do with me now and see me doing and join me. First take deep breath. Om. Om. Om contains three phonemes, A, U, and Ma. So a combination of A and U is O. So you can also do either separately or combined. One single subject or sound or topic of maximum interest in all religions is Om. In Buddhism, Jainism, in Hinduism, and even in Islam and Christianity, and Amen or Amin. So the holy sound, the sound of God, there are more than 100 meanings to this sound. In Yoga Shastra, it is known as Pranava. And repeating it, the japa artha bhavana. Repeating it is japa. Artha bhavana means imagining, understanding, contemplating on its meaning, which is the symbol of Parama Purusha, the ultimate supreme power, supreme being, who is beyond karma, who is beyond kleshas, will get you a lot of benefits by practicing it. You can experience right away. Mind becomes calm, the heart slows down, blood pressure comes down, infections will be overcome, and so many other benefits. So daily practice of Om, at least say 10 times morning, 10 times evening, or you can even go beyond that. Some people do 100 times also. In a beautiful natural environment, silent environment, a vibration, resonance will come, and the resonance will liberate you mentally, physically. So all the symptoms of medical conditions, vyadhi, and psychological aberrations, dhyana, samshaya, pramada, alasya, abhirati, dhranti, all this will be overcome. Chitta vikshepa, dukkha, daurmanasya, angamejyasva, shvasa prashvasa vikshepa, sahabhava, tad pratishedardham ekatatvabhyasa. So this is a very important statement. To overcome all such symptoms, practice of Om is recommended. And in addition, overcoming distractions is possible through one-pointedness, ekatatvabhyasa. I don't have to tell you this. You have studied in IIT. Without being one-pointed, you will never understand anything. Maitri Karunamuditopekshanam Sakadukha Punya Punya Vishayanam Bhavanatas Chitta Prasadanam. This is a very important statement. How do we get peace of mind? Chitta Prasadanam. Prasada means not that prasada given in the temple alone. It is manas being harmonious and at peace. So how to get that? Maitri Karuna Muditopekshanam Sukadukha Punya Punya Vishayanam Bhavanatas Chitta Prasadanam. If you show Maitri, friendship, to Punya, that is good, or Sukha, when there is happiness, it's somebody got some happy development, like you got a job, or you got a PhD, or you got a child, or you got married. In all such happy occasions, you shall show Maitri. This is a respectively kind of a relationship. Maitri means friendship. Okay, you got married, you go there and congratulate him, oh good. So by showing your friendship to happy moments, you will get peace of mind. And similarly, dukkha, when there is a miserable condition for somebody died, or somebody lost a job, or something happened, there was an accident, there was earthquake, you have to express your karuna, compassion. You have to go and serve, or you have to go and share the pain, misery. And mudita upek punya, and somebody is doing a punya karma, He's doing charity, he's being very generous, he's teaching Bhagavad Gita, he's doing all good things. So you have to express mudita, happiness. Oh, good, you are doing this. I got messages from people that, oh, good, you are teaching Bhagavad Gita, you're teaching Yoga Sutras, and that will give them peace of mind. And apunya vishayana upeksha. This is a very important point. Apunya means sinful acts. When somebody is doing sinful acts, you don't go and meddle with it unless it is your job. Of course, if you're a policeman, you will meddle with it. If you're a lawyer or a judge, or then you will deal with it. But if you are not concerned, you don't go and meddle with it. If you do it, you will get misery. So upeksha, just ignore things or people doing things which are bad, but you are not responsible for it. You are not concerned about it. Like when you watch in TV, something that somebody did somewhere, and and all that, crime scene. If you start probing into it and if you start getting involved, which you cannot do anything anyway, because that happened somewhere, some other place at some other time, you are not there, then your mental peace will be disturbed. So crime thrillers and all these are not good things to follow. So chitta prasadanam comes by such attitudes to Maitri Karuna Udidopekshanam Punya Punya Vishaya Bhavanada Chitta Prasadam. And then he has given the other methods of achieving samadhi. Prachardhan Vidharana Bhyam Va Pranasya. You can achieve samadhi or fix a controlled mind through pranayama. Prachardhana Vidharana is nothing but pranayama. Vidharana is retention. Prachardhana is taking in and breathing out. So by pranayama, you can control your mind. And the whole subject of pranayama, which is a very big subject, there is a whole book called The Science of Pranayama by Swami Shivananda, and in many of yoga texts, pranayama is elaborately described. And here, one sutra, Prachardhana Vidharana Bhyam Va Pranasya, is summarizing all this. Kausthasya Vayor Nasikapudabhyam Prayatna Visheshadvamanam Prachardhanam Vidharanam Pranayamastabhyam Va Manasahisthatim Sampadaye. The commentary of Vyasa, we don't know which Vyasa, to Patanjali Yoga Sutras is this, by explaining this sutra, saying that inhalation and retention and exhalation and the various types of ratios involved in it, which can be learned from a qualified and practically competent teacher, alone can result in miraculous results. Pranayamena vistena sarvaroga kshayo bhave. All diseases can be overcome. And the prana vijnana, the science of prana, is associated with the chakras. And to just summarize, there are 72,000 nadis in the body. The prana flows in all these nadis, and the junctions of those nadis, they are not physical, they are channels of flow of prana. The junctions of such nadis are called chakras. There are hundreds of them. The major of them are 6 Shat chakras: Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, Anahata, Visuddha, Ajna, and Sahasra. So the Kundalini moves above, from lower level to the above, to reach Samadhi in the Sahasrara chakra. And the whole procedures involved in pranayama of the Yoga Darshana are associated with this whole process. It's a very big subject. I've been lucky to learn this from the topmost gurus, Swami Shilananda Bharati of the Bade Dhuniwala Samsthan of Khandwa, and to reach Samadhi at the end of it. And in this book, in detail explanations are given about pranayama and its procedures and the chakras and the prana sarira and all that. Because let me also add that the body which you see physically is called Annamaya Kosha. It will be based on food. If you don't give food, it will die. There is a second body called Pranamaya Kosha, which is vital body, which is made up of prana channels. And the third one called Manomaya Kosha, which is mental body. And the fourth one called Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is scientific body. And the fifth one called Anandamaya Kosha, which is bliss body. We all have 5 bodies, and we are not any of these 5 bodies. We are having these 5 bodies, and we are living with those 5 bodies, but we are independent of them. Very important caution is, don't practice pranayama on your own. You have to learn from a teacher. So Vishayavati va pravritti utpanna manasa sthiti nibandhini. This is the next sutra, which is about the Vishayavati. Vishayas are 5 Vishayas, for the 5 senses. Gandha, Rasa, Rupa, Sparsha, Shabda. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Shabda is for the ears, Sparsha is for the skin, and Rasa is for the tongue, Rupa is for the eyes, Gandha is for smell. So these Vishayas, Vishayavati, Va Pravrittirutpanna, that is the one which is born out of Pravritti, that is kind of effort or kind of association. And Manasaha, Sthiti Nibandhini, Sthiti Bandhyo, that is these 5 sensory experiences and the traits or tendencies which are called pravrittis, they are the ones which tie down this mind, the state of mind. Manasa Sthiti Nibandhini, Ishogava Jyotishmati. Next procedure, he has given different procedures. Ishvara Pranidhanadva, Prachadhanidharanabhyam va pranasya, and Vishogava Jyotishmati. By meditating upon a sorrowless light, Jyoti. Jyoti meditation is very famous in all scriptures, even non-Hindu scriptures. Light is given very great importance. Light is the nature of divine, and so that light can be used for meditation constantly, and you can reach samadhi through that. All other alternative is Vitaraga Vishayam Vachittam. You can meditate upon a personality who is free from all attachments, who is free from all bondings. It is like a great saint. So saints like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or any other person, we meditate upon them. Say people meditate on Sai Baba, or people meditate on Krishna or Narayana or Shiva. What is Shiva doing? Shiva doing nothing but he's in samadhi. He's closing his eyes and sitting in Padmasana. He is being absorption. You meditate upon Shiva, you will get samadhi. Swapna Nidra Jnana Va. Alternatively, you can meditate upon some dream experiences you might have got. Sometimes people do get dreams of extraordinary nature, and you can meditate on those. Like I had once a dream of Devi in my dream. So I meditate upon Devi's form. And finally, he has given the freedom. Yatha abhimata dhyanadva. You can meditate on anything whatsoever you like. Abhimata dhyanadva. Abhimata is your own will and pleasure, your choice. You can meditate upon even a blade of grass. You can meditate upon a mountain, a tree. So that is why in Yoga Shastra, total freedom is given. In Hinduism, which is based on the Yoga Darshana, which we are discussing, total freedom is given. Whereas in other religions, such freedom may not be there. In fact, they are restrictive, and that is the cause of their problem. And that is why they are exclusive, and that's why they are trying to convert people into. Here we are being very inclusive, very free, liberal, very, very liberal. There is no exclusiveness. Alternatively, you can meditate upon anything and everything. So in the perspective of Hinduism, even meditation upon Jesus or even meditation upon Allah or Jehovah is acceptable, because you can meditate on anything which you like. You can meditate upon a tree, you can meditate upon a leaf. What matters is the meditation process, the absorption that has to come. If that absorption comes, samadhi, if it comes, then paramanu paramahatvantosya vashikaraha. Right from an atom, paramanu, to the paramahatvanta, the whole universe, mahat, the substance of the whole universe will be controllable, will be achievable. Asya vashikaraha. It will be achieved by the yogi. Now he's explaining the nature of conditioning. Like if you take a crystal ball, and if you take that crystal and keep it on a yellow surface, it will appear yellow. If you keep it on a green surface, it will appear green. Or blue means blue. It is neither blue nor green, nothing. So the consciousness is free from all conditioning. So the form of that consciousness will be according to the conditioning. Like the pure consciousness, I told you last time 4 sentences, all experience of reality is a conditioning of the consciousness. So the conditioning of the consciousness is the formation of the mental process, mental stuff, and the mental stuff when applied to, let us say, anatomy, it will understand anatomy. If the mental stuff or mind is applied to astronomy, it will understand astronomy. So it depends on what you apply, you will understand that. So from the atom up to the global galaxies, anything can be understood and achieved and acquired. Tatra Shabdar Dhajna Vikalpai Sankirna Savitarka Samapatti. So now the Savitarka Samadhi is comprising of three Shabda, Ardha, and Jnana. Shabda is a signal or sensory input from one of these 5 senses. Ardha is its meaning, and Jnana is its knowledge. So the 3 stages of Savitarka Samapatti Samadhi, Smriti Parishuddho Swarupa Shunyeva Ardhamas Nirbhasa Nirvitarka. And there is a Nirvitarka Samadhi. We have already discussed Savitarka Samadhi in the Samprajnata Samadhi also. Savitarka, Savichara. Now we talk of Nirvitarka. Without logical analysis, a total absorption is called Nirvitarka Samadhi. And beyond that is the Etayeva Savichara, Nirvichara, Sukshma Vishaya Vyakhyata. Savichara Samadhi, Nirvichara Samadhi. In the subtle level, there are Savitarka, Nirvitarka, more at gross level. And finally, Sukshma Vishayatvam Chalinga Paryavasanam, we have the Nirbija Samadhi, Nirvichara Vishayatvam Adhyapa Prasad Saiva Savija Samadhi. So when all thoughts, processes, and mental states are arrested completely, all attachments, karma, vasanas are overcome, but still you may have one bija, one seed. So even if that is overcome, we'll call Nirbija Samadhi. Before that is Sabija Samadhi. Nirvichara Isharadhya Adhyatma Prasadaha Ritam Bhara Tatra Prajna. In Samadhi, that Prajna, which is nothing but the knowledge or the wisdom acquired, is Ritam Bhara. It is full of Ritam. Ritam is Ritam Satyam, higher truth, transcendental truth. So the yogi can achieve the knowledge of transcendental truth in Samadhi directly without going through a meticulous, long, tedious processes which we and I are very familiar. The study, the experiment, and all. Like what Einstein could see could have been achieved through experimentation over a period of more than 50 or 100 years. So what he could see with intuition was just leapfrogging, jumping across many decades, if not century. So that is transcendental knowledge. So here is talk of a much deeper transcendental knowledge. Ratambhara tatra prajna. So the yogis of the past, the rishis of the past, were something like a mega-sized Einsteins who could have deep intuition and could understand and acquire knowledge of impossible, massive subjects, whether it is astronomy, whether it is anatomy, whether it is physiology, whether it is chemistry, whether it is atomic theory, all those things, because they didn't have to go through the long drawn rope process of experimentation and incremental acquisition of knowledge. This is higher transcendental level of knowledge acquisition, epistemology. Srutanumana prajnabhyam anya vishaya vishesabdhatva. Srutanumana prajnabhyam. Shruta is agama, that is what you hear from the text of Vedas as referential knowledge, and anumana is inferential knowledge. Anya vishaya rutambhara prajna. These different. Just now I told you, going through a process of inference and experimentation will be a long drawn rope, whereas an intuition, transcendental prajna is direct absorption of supreme knowledge through samadhi. Tajya samskaro anya samskara nibandhini. Experience of samadhi generates certain samskaras which can override the previous samskara. Tasyapi nirodhe sarva nirodham nirviyas. So a person who is practicing samadhi daily or regularly has overcome various obstructions, various vasanas, various impulses. But this samskara of the samadhi itself will become a pratibandhi, will become an obstruction. The experience of samadhi itself will become an obstruction. So tasyapi nirodhe, even if that is arrested, sarva nirodha nirbija samadhi. That is the end of this chapter. This is called Samadhi Pada, the first quarter of Patanjali Yoga Sutras. I would like to stop here, and then next time we will do the next chapter or next quarter of the Yoga Sutras called Sadhana Pada. The practice details, various details of practice of yoga are given in detail to achieve Samadhi. Om Tat Sat.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji, so for the wonderful session and covering more. And I think this needs even more dwelling the next session also, more on the yoga shastra. But let me pause here for a moment. If anyone has any questions, please go ahead with your questions. And we are good on the time. We are just, and we can take in few questions currently. So please, you can unmute yourself and get started with with your questions on this topic. And how do you feel the the next time the session could be, or what are the areas which you want Dr. Prabhu to concentrate on? Oh, so sorry, or else you can type your questions if there is any audio problem. So anyone has any questions?
I think it is too deep.
So I think, yeah, while others are thinking, so I had one question, Dr. Prabhu. So you were saying pranayam do not do without guru.
Yes.
So we have been following the internet world and doing it. So how do you? What is your advice for us?
You are doing at your own risk. You can fall sick. You can even die.
Oh my God.
Or you can go mad. It's up to you.
Okay, so under the guidance is what?
Yeah, I have gone through that. Even the process of falling sick without teacher, and then I had teacher. Then I went through some of the highest levels up to samadhi through the teacher. So without teacher, you'll get into trouble.
Okay, sir. And last time I think we have asked, yes, for the yoga sessions and all. So do you plan to have, because this series is a separate, we do not want to dilute this, but do you feel a possibility for that also?
Yeah, sure. Online yoga sessions, pranayama meditation session can be planned if you have interested, seriously committed people. Then we can have online sessions.
Sure, sir. I'll work on that. So others, please, any questions from your side? Please go ahead.
I think it's too deep subject.
Yeah.
So
Let people assimilate all the information, and I think possibly yes. Please feel free to chat in the group also. Like we have migrated to the Telegram group, so please post all your comments, questions, and Prabhu sir will address them one on one in the group. So yeah. So thank you, Prabhuji, for the session. And I don't think we have questions, and we can.
thank you. Bye.
Namaste.